And Bao apparently does not shower every day. What is up with all of this coming out about people not showering every day? Hi guys, it's either going to be a welcome or a welcome back to my channel. I'm Keosha. I'm a lawyer that doesn't practice. I am a mid-level government bureaucrat, and I'm just someone who moonlights in creativity. And today, I'm going to be reviewing the 5th episode of Married at First Sight Houston, Season 13. So the first couple that we're going to talk about is Gil and Myrla. The episode, they have these episodes cut in a really weird way, right? They jump from couple to couple, and then they'll do group outings, and then back to couple, and then a group outing. So I'm gonna go couple by couple. Yes, some of the couples, it may mention the group outing, but I'm gonna mention the group outing, both of them, after I am done with all 5 couples. So I'm gonna mention the outing at the pool, and then I'm gonna mention Johnny and Jose's rendezvous. And then I'll talk about the next episode, right? So Gil and Myrla. I mean, it was a bunch of the same stuff, right? This episode was so boring. This season is so boring. But it was a lot of the same. It started out with breakfast. Gil brought, I think they had given them croissants, fruit, and milk. And, you know, it happened to be real milk and not almond milk. And she called that back. She called the front desk and, you know, to get it rectified. And honestly, I would have done the same thing. Honestly, like I don't drink regular milk, so I would have done the same thing. I didn't see anything wrong with that. But coupled with all of the other times where she complains, it's becoming a lot. Gil, I thought this was a really funny part. Like, Gil struck up a conversation, and he was just basically asking her like what she felt about the hotel or the resort, and she ripped that resort a new one. Like, she is not happy with the resort. And so it cuts to him kind of saying like, you know, he's learning that she has a very strong personality, and he said verbatim, and she's not going to change for anyone. And that, my friends, is foreshadowing that, among other things, will be the end of this couple. One, finance, or maybe the bigger issue is her being uncompromising and her kind of being unwilling to soften her stance, with the underlying thing of finances, because it's all wrapped up into the same thing. But I think she's a terrible candidate for the show, guys. I really do. Like, in real life, you can absolutely be that way. Hell, I can relate to a lot of the things, like just kind of liking things how you like them. I can relate, but I also wouldn't go on Married at First Sight because I know how I am, right? I know how picky I can be. I know how I am. And so the fact that she thought she would be a good candidate, and then the fact that the experts thought she would be a good candidate after talking to her, blows my mind, right? So there's that. They ended up going on like a little lunch date. And like I said, I'm going to talk about the outing at the end, but there was a group outing. Myrla couldn't go. She had to do some work or something. But when they sat down, she was like, so what's the tea? You know, give me the tea. And he proceeds to tell her about like how all of the other couples had kissed and who had passionate kissing, Rachel and Jose. And just basically his whole point was all of the other couples have kissed but us. What the fuck? He didn't say what the fuck, but you could tell he was thinking what the fuck. So then it comes up that, you know, she doesn't kiss on the first, second, or third date. Like I said, I can relate. I don't think I've kissed anybody on the first or second date. You know, there are things that I can relate to just because, you know, I don't know you. And I get where she's coming from, where she has to warm up. I do understand that, aside from her personality. But I also see how Gil is becoming very frustrated. And I almost think he's starting to feel a bit of rejection because he also brought that up. He was like, I know how men think, talking about the guys who were at the pool. And he was like, you know, we think like this. If you don't kiss me or if you don't show me affection, then you're not attracted to me. And so you could tell that's kind of how he's starting to feel. And I get that too. I get both sides. Like, yes, they don't know each other, but then yes, they are married. And so yes, it's a little bit of give and pull or give and take, and she's not giving or taking, or she's not giving, she is taking, like no give, right? Before the end of the date, he told her that he thrives off of physical touch, and that's something that he really craves. I think he was kind of getting a little frustrated with Myrla, so he goes, well, tell me about your last relationships. Like, is this how you are? Is this how you are in your, you know, is this how you were in your past relationships? And, you know, it basically got to the point where she enjoys quality time. She loves spending quality time with her partner, and she loves gifts. So those are her love languages: quality time and gifts. And clearly Gil's love language, his primary one, is physical touch. And it seems like his secondary one is gifts. Just kind of how he's presenting things to Myrla. Maybe not. Maybe he's trying to make her happy. Clearly one of them is physical touch though, right? And so it comes out that she is also touchy-feely in relationships. And that kind of threw him off a little bit, because he was like, well, damn, you're touchy-feely, but I haven't even gotten a kiss. So that was, you know, interesting, y'all. This shit is so boring. I'm trying my best. But in the midst of that, like, he asked her how would she like to be appreciated, and she said gifts, of course. So then she points to her ring and she's like, you know, I'm expecting this to be upgraded, and I don't expect anything less from her, right? And so then the situation or the question comes up about when Gil's last relationship was. And his last relationship was 6 years ago. I think one relationship was 6 months, one was like 9 months, and one was 1.5 years. And again, like, maybe somebody can make it into a big deal. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I spent a lot of my adult life, like, and when I say adult life, like actually being an adult and paying bills and stuff and being out on my own and being in a career, I spent a lot of my adult life single. A lot of my friends kind of spent a lot of their adult life single. So it's not like this weird thing, right? Like, I remember going on dates with people and they'd be like, well, when was your last relationship? And I'd say, and they'd be like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? It's like, dude, nothing. I just haven't been in a relationship. That's another thing for another day though. And so Gil tries to surprise her later on in the episode. And he surprised her with like a plane boat ride thingy. I don't know what it's called. And of course, she was not happy about it. She hates everything. But I'll give her credit where she said she would go. She agreed to go. And that shows that maybe she's trying a little bit. She agreed to go. She complained the whole time. But I get that. She was motion sick. I get really motion sick too. Like, I can't even look down, look at text messages in the car, read a book in the car. Really, really motion sick. But then that brings up the point, like, y'all are in a resort. You couldn't go get any Dramamine anywhere? Or before you guys decided to go on the honeymoon, nobody thought to get Dramamine, you know, for motion sickness? I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to find stuff to talk about because it's so boring right now, right? But yeah, she complained the whole time, and that's basically Gil and Myrla. Gil tries to be accommodating. Gil tries to make her happy, and she hates everything, right? And maybe it's editing, maybe it's her. I think it's mainly her. Because editing, yes, they leave a lot out. Yes, they add things, but she is also saying these things the way they are being aired too. So I don't think they're gonna make it at all. Their overarching theme is, I thought it was finances, but their theme is actually going to be her being unmoving, her not compromising, her wanting things how she wants them. And I think Gil is gonna really try to give it his all, but he's gonna burn out, and eventually he's just gonna be like, F it, you know, I'm over this. So of course they're not gonna make it. Those are my predictions early on. No, they're not gonna make it. And now on to Bao and Johnny. Y'all, I'm just so bored with this season. I know I keep saying it, but on to Bao and Johnny. He made little jokes, like they woke up in the bed and he was making jokes about her snoring, and it comes out that she's a little self-conscious about it, and it comes out later in the episode that she's very self-conscious about it, but we'll talk about it. So Johnny really wants to kind of surprise her, to sit down and have a serious conversation with her about how he feels about her. And that's something that's different for Johnny, because he never expresses himself first when it comes to women. He always waits until they tell him how they feel, and then he'll express his feelings. And the reason behind that is rejection. You know, he's scared of being rejected. So he wanted to set up this surprise to sit her down and talk to her and tell her how he feels. And so I'll talk about him asking Jose last, but they picked out a shirt for her. He picked out a shirt for him, came back to the room, he surprised her with it. You know, they had a little bit of playful banter back and forth, and then they went on their picnic date, which was really, really cute. I love picnic. I love a good picnic. And you could tell he was really, really nervous, but he was able to get the words out, and it was quite painful to watch. He was able to get the words out that he likes Bao, that he is very interested in Bao, and that he wants to know how she feels about him. Bao kind of dropped the ball a little bit here. To me, she told him that the feeling was mutual, which kind of seems like a cop-out. Bao has an extensive vocabulary. She's incredibly intelligent, and she could have absolutely strung together a couple of sentences telling him how she liked him, what she liked about him, and that yes, the feelings are mutual. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. They kind of got through that. Okay, we like each other. You know, fair enough. But he really seemed really excited. Like, it seemed like the hugest weight had been lifted off of his shoulders. And so they kind of talk and they go a little deeper. It comes out that Johnny has been on like 100 first dates, and Bao said she feels bad for him. Now, 100 first dates. I haven't been on 100, but I've been on a lot. Have I been on 100? Listen, I've been on a lot of first dates. I'm also 33. I'll be 34. So, you know, it's not unheard of. Like, but she did not make a big deal out of it. But I felt like the producers really kind of wanted that to be a big deal. She didn't think it was a big deal. I didn't either. He's trying to find who he wanted to be with. Now, 100 dates is different from no one ever being able to match up and then him hopping to the next person, right? Those are two totally different things. She mentioned, this is really important, Bao mentioned that she has a tendency to self-sabotage. And she said that she'll always mean well, but sometimes what comes out doesn't match with her intentions. But the self-sabotaging thing, I've already seen it. I'll tell you about it as soon as I get to it, which is actually now. So it's bedtime. You know, Johnny's like, hey, do we still need this pillow? Because, I mean, I'm feeling you, you're feeling me. Why do we need this here? And so she agrees to remove the pillow, the barrier between them. And I thought they were having a really great moment. They had a really great day. I thought they had gotten a little closer. And here comes Miss Self-Sabotage, right? Now, she mentioned that she is very self-conscious about her snoring. I get it, right? But it was like the timing of everything. Like, they had just had a great evening, and it could have been a moment where they ended it with a bit of a nightcap, maybe a makeout session. But she did not let that happen. She threw in the monkey wrench about her snoring and summer camp and kids making fun of her, which completely killed the mood. I don't think she did it on purpose. I think it was subconscious, but I think that's going to be a theme with her. She's going to continue to self-sabotage when things start to go well. And Johnny even said that. I think that kind of sums up those two. And then let's get to Brett and Ryan. Mr. and Mrs. Boring. Everybody's boring. I actually like Brett. I'm just bored. So it kind of opens up where Brett is mentioning that, Brett and Ryan, they have conversations, but nothing's really deep. So she mentions that she wants to get a little deeper in and kind of get to know him, and she wants him to get to know her. And so they go and they get massages, and she asked him if he wanted kids, and he was like, absolutely. Yes, right now. And then he quickly changed the subject and he wanted to talk about intimacy. And it's kind of the same thing that we see with Myrla. Brett needs to be comfortable with somebody before she moves to intimacy. Again, I absolutely relate. I'm not going to be intimate with a stranger. I need to get to know you. And yes, I could be initially attracted to you, but the attraction builds as I get to connect with you more emotionally. So I absolutely get that. You can tell he is not the happiest about it, but you know, he's rolling with the punches. They get to dinner. And they kind of have a little bit of small talk about the meetup with the group. And then she asked Ryan his deal breakers, and he said children, someone who didn't want to have children. And so they kind of go into that, and Brett says that she wants kids, but if she didn't have them, she wouldn't be mad. And what she meant by that was she wants to have children in a family setting. She doesn't want to be a single mom. And so if it were a situation where she would be a single mom, then no, she doesn't mind not having children. But if there's a situation where she's married, yes, then she's open to having children. And I get that. I really do. And so I guess they kind of had a meeting of the minds there, because maybe Ryan thought initially that she didn't want kids, but I don't know. I don't know. This season is making me crazy. Brett said that the more time that she's spending with him, she's starting to kind of like him a little bit. So, things are trending in the right direction. And I think the more time they spend together, eventually, she'll open up and they'll go a little further. I still think Ryan is boring, but I'm starting to think he's boring in a quirky way. He just has a really dry sense of humor, and it's kind of starting to come out. Again, he's just been in so many relationships, and he's been out there so much that he is a little jaded. He acknowledged that Brett hadn't really been on that many dates, and she just didn't have the experience to hop into, this whole marriage and kind of get down. And so he acknowledged that, and he did say that he understood, but, it would be nice if they could get a little closer and be intimate. I get it. I think initially I didn't think they were going to make it, and I still kind of don't. But, I don't know, y'all. Maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe the tide will turn, but I don't know. Like, Brett seeks a really deep connection, and I don't know if Ryan is gonna be able to give that to her. And now let's go to Rachel and Jose. And again, we have a connection. We have so much in common. That pops up right as they introduce them, which, as I mentioned in previous reviews, this is foreshadowing. We have so much in common is foreshadowing for we don't have anything in common and I hate you. Oh my God, we couldn't be more different, right? That's what this is foreshadowing for. But the layers are starting to be peeled back, and we are starting to see that there are major differences between the two. Rachel, I think Rachel is the one who kind of brought up the conversation about their differences. which I thought was pretty good of her to do, right? To open up the lines of communication. Yes, we have all of this in common, but what's different here? Jose started kind of rambling and talking about coffee, which was weird. He does that. I think when he gets uncomfortable, he starts talking about random stuff. It's kind of like a nervous tick. But she brought up the toothbrushing and just kind of how she wasn't comfortable with that when, you know, in the last episode, he asked if he could brush her teeth. She basically said, she told him, like, I'm not a child. And so to her, him making gestures like that and like him trying to feed her, they show cuts of him feeding her. She feels like her independence is being undercut, right? And that is a theme in this episode for her. She's used to being independent, doing everything for herself. And so she's having a hard time allowing Jose to do for her and to provide for her. And she kind of wonders what her role is going to be in the marriage. Because if he's going to be the provider and if he's going to provide everything, you know, what is my role? That's kind of where she is. And I'll finish that thought up, but Rachel decided to take him fishing, which is something that he really wanted to do, deep sea fishing. So it was a really nice gesture. And they had a really good time. It looked like that water was beautiful. I would like to be on some beautiful water like that. And then, you know, we get to their date night. She has on this beautiful red dress. I think she looks really, really cute. And the conversation comes up again about her independence. And so Jose was kind of like, yeah, you know, I have a home. I'm established. When things, you know, when we leave and it's time, you know, would you want to move in with me? And again, she's not comfortable with it at all. And she told him, you know, she'd need some time to kind of think on that. And so this makes me wonder what has happened to her that makes her, and she's severely independent. And like, I absolutely understand that. I am also, you know, a very independent person. And so when I got with, you know, Bay, the person I'm with now, it's been really hard for me to relinquish control and to allow somebody to take care of me. It's been hard. I will say that. But it's also really nice to let somebody take care of you. I get where she's coming from. But then her aversion just seems so deep. Like, she made the house thing such a big deal. And it's like, girl, you're an adult. You still have a job. If things don't work out, move out, go get a place. Like, this is easy to me. So they end up kind of ending the night with like cheesecake. And again, the independence thing comes up, and Jose's whole thing is he just wants to take care of his wife and he just wants to be a provider, which I absolutely get. I think this is also going to be a theme. I think the main theme is her not being enough for Jose. Yes, it's cute right now, but y'all mark my words. She's not going to be able to live up to his standards. And then the other theme is she is very resistant to marriage. It seems that she wanted to be married, or she wanted to get married, but not necessarily like be married, if that makes sense. Like what that actually means in practice. Like they talked about bank accounts and stuff, and she was just not having any of the joint bank account stuff. I think she said she wanted her own. She wanted him to have his own, and then they would have a joint, and he wanted something different, and we'll see, right? We'll see. Do I think they're gonna make it? No, I don't know who's gonna make it on this damn season. Why do I think they're not gonna make it? Y'all know how I feel about Jose. I think Jose would be happier with a man. And that's no tea, no shade. I know you cannot determine someone's sexuality by looking at them and how they act and their attributes. But in this case, I just can't shake it. So no, I don't think they're gonna make it, not because of that, but because she's not gonna be enough for him, and they're always going to clash over it. And apparently she has this whole independent thing. So I don't think they're gonna be able to make it work. But on to the next boring ass couple, right? The last people. Everything was so boring. This one did have a little bit of spice. So on to Michaela and Zack. Zack has COVID, period, point blank. And the scene between them was really interesting. Like, it was almost like she was upset at him, like he had done something to her. Like he stood her up for a date, or he said something bad about her. Like, she seemed mad like that, as opposed to just kind of being disappointed because he has COVID and it's their honeymoon. So that was like a little annoying. I think she was kind of being a baby over that because he didn't do it on purpose. And then why did you go back to Houston? Why not just stay and like have fun on the rest of your honeymoon by yourself? At least you're in the sun, you're meeting other people and hanging out. Like, you just go back to Houston. I don't understand. I don't understand that. And Zack, you know, they just kind of showed him looking pitiful, being sick. And he said something interesting. He said, hopefully she doesn't resent me for the rest of my life. Why would he say that? What else did she say to him that wasn't showed that would make him say that? Why has this become such a huge deal? We're gonna see. We're gonna see about Miss Hurricane K. I'm not getting good vibes. I'm not getting good vibes one bit. And so now let's go to the group meetup, right? And for everybody that was there, Myrla was missing because she had to work. And of course, Zack and Michaela were missing. So the group meetup at the pool, it was pretty cool. Like, the group all together, they have a really good vibe. Everybody was laughing, joking. Of course, Gil was the life of the party and bringing everything together and driving conversation. And then it comes out that everybody, you know, all the other couples have kissed and smooched, and Jose and Rachel even provided a live demonstration of the kiss smooch. And that came out, and so he was kind of like, huh. So everybody here has so-and-so but me. And then he goes a bit further. He was like, so who's consummated the marriage? Or maybe he didn't say that. I don't know who said it, but that came up. And it wasn't really addressed. They kind of pushed past that. The conversation came up about Zack and Michaela, and no one really knew what was going on. So, the main thing was the kind of tea about this part, the tea about the group meetup. It's kind of how Gil was spilling the beans, and he was doing a little too much. Like, y'all's relationship is y'all's relationship. Yes, you can mention things generally, but I think he kind of took it a little too far with kind of what he was saying. And that's going to come back to bite him in the butt. Because, of course, Brett or one of the other girls is going to tell her as soon as they see her. That's going to come back to bite him in his tail, that he was running his mouth that she's high maintenance and this and this and that. Is it the truth? Yes. But should he have been kind of reeling on her like that? Probably not. And I understand he's venting because he's been through a lot already. I get him venting, but maybe go and vent to production or write in a journal or something, you know? I'm trying to think of the high points, like Johnny seeing Bao in a swimsuit. He was like, oh, yes, I would like more of this. That was really funny. And then cut to Rachel and Jose hanging out. Michaela FaceTimes Rachel and basically tells them that Zack has COVID and that she's back in Houston and that she's just really disappointed, which I get, and sad and agitated and some other adjectives that she used. So that's how they broke that news. So I'm sure when everybody gets back together, she'll relay that information. Rachel will. Jose and Johnny's meetup, y'all. It was very awkward. And what I said earlier about Jose, I'm getting vibes that Jose has a crush on Johnny. I am probably absolutely wrong. And Jose probably is absolutely into women. But I'm not getting that vibe. I don't know. So, yeah, it was just really weird and awkward. Like, he was just really excited to be around Johnny. And Johnny, you know, he's not thinking. He's just like, I want to be more like this guy, you know. And I don't know. It's almost like they're setting Johnny up, like, for this unwilling bromance, or for this bromance. I don't know, y'all, but it was just a really awkward scene. It was a really awkward scene that just made me think more, you know, that Jose would probably prefer to be with Johnny, right? And that's kind of that on the episode. Really boring. I know I'm going fast, but y'all, it was so boring. I'm just trying to get through this week's episode. And so they kind of flashed to the next episode. Myrla gave Gil some cookies, and he seemed to really be excited about that. And it looks like the drama's coming. Like, it looks like some serious drama is coming. Myrla said something about not wanting a dog, and Gil was like, well, that's not gonna work for me. And Bao apparently does not shower every day. What is up with all of this coming out about people not showering every day? And it seemed like Johnny had enough of her shit. He was like, damn, you can't even get in the shower and let the water run over you, you know? He was like, is it that hard to rinse off? That was actually really funny. So I think maybe we're gonna get a little more drama. Maybe things will heat up. Again, I was over it. I'm still kind of over it. We'll see what happens in episode 6. They really are going to have to pick up the action. I don't know if they're saving it for the middle. I don't know what's going on, but they're gonna have to pick up the action, because these reviews are boring. I need some good stuff. I need to be inspired, and I'm sure you guys want to be entertained. So yeah, if you made it this far in my rambling for this episode, thank you so much. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please give this video a like, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.